Welcome everyone to a new update, and today we'll cover everything you need to know about the current price action of Bitcoin as we are seeing a ton of volatility. But in this update we'll also dive into the news from the coming 40 hours as we got the FOMC meeting coming up. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content. If you like what we do, we also have a trade letter with the latest altcoin setups, market information and market analysis. You can try it for free for 1 week and the link can be found in the description beneath this video. The same goes for our premium membership, which covers my personal trades and trade ideas and way more. This can also be tested for free for 1 week. In the past weeks we have had a significant downwards move on the markets as the markets have been correcting substantially towards levels of the lows on Bitcoin, and even worse for most of the altcoins as some have been printing almost new lows. Ethereum has seen its merge and the price has been falling down since, as the hype is slowly draining away and some FUD has been surrounding the markets regarding the ETH merge as well. And yesterday we've seen something regarding Ian Balina too. Now what is next? That is the ultimate question, and most likely tomorrow will give the outcome as the FOMC meeting is approaching and the Fed press conference as well. The FOMC meeting and Fed press conference tomorrow is maybe the most anticipated event that's going to take place, as investors and traders are heavily focused on this event. It's due to several reasons, an important event tomorrow, which we'll be covering in the live stream as well. If you want to hop in, I'll be live at 19:30 Central European Time covering everything surrounding the FOMC press release and the Fed press conference. So definitely hop into that live stream if you want to know anything about it. However, crypto fanatics are heavily skewed towards the actual event as it's one of the most anticipated, as I've stated before. Previous events, we've seen crypto being heavily volatile overall due to it, and right now we can already see the impact of the Fed press conference tomorrow as prices are falling down. This gives the likely stance of a potential sell the rumor by the news type of event which could be happening tomorrow. Now, what's tomorrow going to bring and what's going to happen? That is the question. Well, we're going to get hikes. Of course, and the consensus is that we're most likely going to get 75 bips, but crypto has been reacting quite heavily last week on the CPI data, which came in worse than expected, and then the sudden increase towards 100 bips came around too. Question is though, will the markets be seeing such an increase of hikes as 100 bips is very unusual, and I don't think we will, but overall debate is getting fired up whether 50 bips or 100 bips are the case at this point. Overall, the markets are most likely pricing in the worst as the sentiment is also on a rock bottom, and in that case we'll have to go through a few scenarios. We'll discuss them here. The first scenario is an outcome of 100 bips. In that case, the markets are probably going to puke and the dollar will continue its run. However, the dollar is getting towards the end game of this rally overall as the strength is weakening. So it doesn't mean that it's very likely to be happening to continue that strength. However, if 100 bips is the case, most likely markets are going to fall. There's one case where the markets are probably not going to fall, which is that it is the last hike and Powell becomes more dovish towards the future surrounding cases that the hikes are relatively done for now, and he sees inflation dropping down substantially due to the impact of the policy. In the case of 100 bips, I find this less likely. The second scenario is 75 bips. Most likely markets are going to react in a positive way as this is what is expected, and crypto even probably expects 100 bips. But now the importance lies primarily in the speech from Powell and the expectations he has towards the future. If he is hawkish and he wants to continue hiking towards, let's say, 6%, then probably we'll be seeing a sell-off as well. If that's not the case, markets are going to react in a positive way and we could be around the actual bottom. Remember, in July he was dovish and the markets reacted in a positive way, and in August he was the opposite at Jackson Hole and the markets made a U-turn. The final scenario is an outcome of 150 bips. In that case, markets are getting surprised overall and we'll probably see a strong relief rally as the current policy on the Fed is over and we're getting towards the end game of such a policy. In this case, markets are most likely going to see a strong relief rally while the dollar, yields and more are dropping down significantly. Those are the cases for now in which we'll be looking at a case where we are into the end game of this current policy. On the other hand, the energy crisis is also slowing down heavily as natural gas is already down 20% in the past weeks, while also other commodities have been dropping down significantly. Lumber is reaching numbers that are 20% lower than last year's prices, while also sugar and other commodities are cheaper than last year's prices, and oil is dropping down, though which the likelihood of inflation slowing down is increasing as a whole. Then we also have the energy crisis in Europe, which is finally slowing down heavily as electricity bills in Germany have been crashing significantly, which you can see in the chart. The prices reached a high of 680 euros at the end of August, while now the prices are back to 80 euro, a drop of more than 80%. The heaviest is behind us and most likely the dollar has seen the largest run too. So let's get towards the charts. So when we're looking at the markets at this point, we first are looking at the 200-week MA on the total market cap, which is one that we should be watching, as usually when we get towards the 200-week MA, it is getting into a territory where you want to start investing into crypto. So we have been looking into this case in which we most likely going to get a retest, which we have been doing as the resistance has been found at 1.2 trillion, and now we're getting towards the territory of the 200-week MA again, which we most likely want to see holding. So that's why tomorrow is going to be heavily important. In this case, previous bear markets, we've also been getting a retest overall before we started to continue moving, and even during the corona crash we dropped beneath it for a little bit, and usually that's a great time to start investing. So in this case, we have been dropping beneath the 200-week MA as well, and now we're looking for a close above it to guarantee that we are done with the actual correction and we can start grinding up in the coming months, but that's all depending on the FOMC. Now when we're looking at Bitcoin, we can definitely argue that we've had a brief sweep off the low at 18.5k yesterday, right? So we've had this actual test at 18.5, which has been a result into liquidity going up, or the volume going up as liquidity has been taken. And now on social media, the overall consensus is that the people are watching for a trade like this in which the recent low is going to be retested again and the liquidity is going to be taken beneath it. However, most likely that is not going to take place, as in the previous bear markets we've also not been seeing such an occurrence. I think that the odds of actually taking the lows here or being bottom are increasing in this correction. So I'm not saying in overall, but after this sweep yesterday, if today is going to be relatively calm and tomorrow FOMC is getting into good territories of 75 bips of lower, the chances that we're breaking this resistance zone is going to increase quite heavily. So in that case, if we want to have anything happening on the markets, you preferably want to see a break off the area around 20k, as then we can reclaim this zone and start attacking the higher 22k. After this daily candle and this sweep, the odds are quite slim that we are getting towards 18.8 again, but if we do, we are most likely going to fall and have this scenario, but most likely are even falling further. So this is a good sweep, and I think that the crucial one is to crack 19.8 to 20k. And you should also realize that if the markets are going to have the FOMC meeting, that during that period the volatility is going to be increasing quite heavily. So stay away from high leverage trades, and this doesn't make sense. Finally, the dollar still consolidating here, not doing much. Weekly time frame looks a little bit like we are topping out quite soon, and I said September is a very decisive month, so if the FOMC meeting is going to give some input here, it could be very likely that we fall down and create a bearish divergence and confirm it. And then finally, you should also be watching the yields, which are still running heavily at this point and are even reaching numbers of 3.5%. So the question is when this is going to top out, and even the 2 years is running to 4%. And if this one starts to have a reversal, which is all depending on tomorrow, that's going to be the trigger for risk on. So let's get towards the end of this YouTube update. As we have been discussing today, the FOMC meeting tomorrow will be heavily important, and it's most likely going to drive the markets towards a new momentum. And if it is going to be 75 bips or lower, or if his stance is going to be more dovish, we'll probably be seeing risk on assets doing well. And then finally, we're also going to reclaim the 200-week MA, and we could be getting towards a bottom. That's the case. If it is going to be 100 bips, probably we're going to puke even more. However, the 10 to 12k level and the 14k level is very crowded at this point, so the chances of getting there are getting relatively slim. Hop in for the live stream tomorrow at 19:30 Central European time. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit like on that YouTube button as it's helping me a lot, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao!